Hello, and welcome to Speak Honest. I am your host and certified relationship coach, Jennifer Noble. It has been my passion for over a decade to help women like you heal what's been holding you back from having the relationships you deserve. Are you struggling with a relationship where you can't seem to voice your emotions, needs, and boundaries without having it blow up in your face? Then you have found the right podcast, my friend. Get ready for practical tips, empowering truths, and honest conversations. Now, let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Speak Honest. On today's episode, I have an exciting guest. It's actually a member of my 12-week Relationship Reboot Program. I have just launched the beta cohort of the Relationship Reboot Program, and I am so excited to get started with these women. So on my podcast today is Amanda, and Amanda is somebody that I've had the pleasure of being able to talk to a couple times. In fact, she was on the podcast once, and as we got to talking, we realized there was a couple areas in her life that she wanted to work on. Now, when I first talked with her, I wasn't totally sure if the program was going to be right for her, because it's really important to me when I assess folks for the program that we look at, what are their unique life situations? What's going on? And is this the right program for them? So we can make sure that they are not wasting any of their time or energy doing something that's not going to work. And Amanda, she has actually a really good relationship with her husband. And so I thought to myself, well, I'm not really sure if this is going to be the right program for her, because we're very relationship heavy. We're very, hey, I'm struggling with how to communicate to him. What can I do? But as we started talking, we realized, there's a lot of places in her life that she actually is struggling to communicate to him. And so as a result, it's causing her internally to really kind of shut down and spiral and go into all of these patterns that she wants to learn how to break. So our goal over the next 12 weeks is to get her to communicate in a healthier, more effective way. And you'll hear her talk about this on the podcast. But what I wanted to do was have a before and after, if you will. And so I'm going to bring a couple of the women onto the podcast over the next couple weeks, and we're going to talk about what is it like for them right now? What are they struggling with? What's going on? What are they hoping the program is going to fix? And then in 12 weeks time, closer to Christmas time, maybe even into January, because we're all going to be very busy, I want to talk to them again and say, where are we? How are you doing? What have you learned the most? What do you still need to work on? And I want to really hear from these women what is working and what isn't. Both because I think this will be amazing feedback for the program, and also because I think it might really help those of you out there who think you can't heal, who think, this isn't for me. I'm going to be stuck like this forever. And I really want to showcase to you what healing can look like, the messiness behind it, the imperfection of healing that comes with, I think that I'm doing a terrible job, and it turns out actually, wow, look how far I've come. And so with these before and afters, I want us to really just sit and listen and lift these women up in their healing and in their growth, and really, really get an understanding that this could be us too. Because listen, I did it. 4 years ago when I was just broken up with, and I was just devastated, and I was in an incredible deep depression and numbing myself with drugs and alcohol. And a lot of you know my story, but it was a really dark time. And I slowly pulled my way out. Now, I wish I'd had someone to help. And I did have some help. I had some therapists. I did have some course programs that I went through, and they were really good. But I kept trying to just throw anything at the wall to see what stuck. And through all of that, I found a program I think is amazing, obviously, that through this program, I'm going to be able to really help as many women as possible see that a healthy, happy, fulfilling relationship, it is possible. It absolutely is. It might not look like what we think it's going to look like now. We have a lot of preconceived notions in our minds as to what the perfect relationship should look like. And even the idea that it should be perfect, right? So I want to wash that away. I want to make new patterns in all of our lives. I want us to see that a fulfilled relationship is within our grasp. And that's what I want for all of you. So I want you to listen to Amanda's story today. And then in 12 weeks' time, we're going to showcase it again. And listen, if you're out there right now and you're thinking, wow, this sounds like something I really want to be doing, this relationship reboot program sounds exactly like what I need. That's amazing. We will be opening the doors again in January. So for now, I just want you to sit back, come into the Facebook group, get as much value as you can out of these podcasts, come to the support sessions on Wednesdays. They're free for anyone in the Facebook group. And this is how you can just keep getting the help you need. And then if by December, closer to January, you're thinking to yourself, yeah, I want your help, Jen. I need you to hold my hand through this. I need to get this help. I need to communicate better. This is it. I need this. I feel that pull. Great. Let's talk then. I just want us to all enjoy this time, really slow down, really kind of get an idea for where are we going with this? What is our goals, right? That's what I'm telling the girls right now in the program. What are your goals? What are your intentions? And again, you'll hear more about that from Amanda in the podcast. So, with all of that said, let's get on with the episode. Hello, Amanda. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate you coming on because I think it's going to be a really great opportunity for anyone out there that is wondering, can I heal? Can I change? What's going on? And listen, we don't know yet, but just to kind of give an overview, although I let everyone know before the episode that this is Amanda. She is a part of my Relationship Reboot Program. She is in the beta cohort, which means this is the very first cohort that I have ever done. And I'm very excited to get this going. And I thought, let me pick out a couple of the ladies that have joined the program and let me bring them on the podcast. And I want to get kind of a before and after picture. So Amanda, I want to get an idea for where are you right now? In other words, what led you to wanting to join the Relationship Reboot Program?
Oh gosh. Okay. So I've always struggled with internal thought, right? And the negative spiral. And I've been triggered by a lot of things. And when I get just an inkling of a trigger, it just starts the spiral, a very steep spiral, very dark spiral. And I've worked over the last couple of years on this. And I'm a huge fan of you, of course, and listening to your podcast, even if it is like the topics or the interviews is not 100% related to my situation, I always get value out of your podcast. And there's so much in this the short time that you've been having this podcast that I've learned so much from you. And I've already started to apply the tools. So I'm like, okay, you're doing this program and you're touching on a lot of things that I need to work on. The limiting beliefs for sure. I'm going to be like diving full force in that.
Can't wait to get into those. I
Yes.
know, they're going to be so good.
Yes. And so I'm like, okay, looking at the 12-week course and all of the topics that we're going to be talking about, I'm like, I need guided help in all of these areas, some more so than others, but I'm excited because I don't know what I don't know.
Oh, I love that. You don't know what you don't know yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's going to get it. So I hear you saying you have these triggers.
Yeah.
And, it's very normal to have triggers, of course. It's very normal to be activated by our external surroundings. I want to be very mindful of that for everyone out there. It's not like we're supposed to be mindless. It's not like we're supposed to be numb if something happens. Oh, that shouldn't affect us. Someone cuts us off. Of course, we're going to get upset. But the way you said, it kind of brings you into this deep spiral. That's the difference, isn't it? It's like affecting your everyday life. What is the thing the kids say? It's like living in your mind rent free, right? It's just like,
Yes.
Why did he cut me off? What's going on there? What was he thinking? Did he think he could cut me off? I know it's just like, it's 3 days later, you're still thinking about this guy.
Yeah.
And so that's really one of those aspects that we want to work on, which is those deep kind of seated triggers inside of ourselves. Now, let me ask you this, because when we first started talking about, hey, would this be the right program for you or not? We weren't really sure because I work mainly with relationships,
right?
Specifically romantic relationships and that struggle that goes on with that. You've got a pretty good relationship going on, don't you?
Yes. No, I am so blessed to have the relationship that I do with my husband. He is so wonderful, so supportive, so patient. But the relationship that I need to work on is with myself.
Exactly.
And I know that about myself. I know that, in our relationship, I need to work on communicating better. I need to work on what goes on internally before I open my mouth or just fly off the handle. And so I know that by going through this 12-week course, that I'm going to grow as a person and I'm going to better our relationship for like between my husband and I, but also in the relationships that I have with my family, with my friends, and just being a better person overall. So that I'm super excited for being at peace with myself, but also being able to put my best foot forward for the people that I love. So
I love that so much because I think it just really shows that we don't need to be in this deep, dire kind of relationship going on in order to want to still heal those parts within ourselves. Because when we were chatting, there were some big things that you wanted to really figure out inside of yourself. And we were looking at this and I was like, well, wait a second. We're going to talk about our attachment wounds, our limited beliefs, our attachment needs, our boundaries, all of these things that you could be setting. And one of those important parts is we always assume boundaries are with other people, right? We always think it's like, no, I'm great at setting boundaries. I can tell someone no, no problem. But can you tell yourself no? Right? Can you tell yourself I shouldn't be thinking about this right now? I could be doing something else, so can I go ahead and ask this to step away right now? Right? These are the places in like week 9 and 10 we can get you. So when those triggers start spiraling, you're going to be like taking a step back and be like, wait a second, the mental boundary in this area of my life is doing this to me. And so now I want to work on that. Isn't that like amazing to think about when we can get to that place?
absolutely, absolutely. And like I said in the podcast, you touch on some of these things. And so I'm already seeing just from the brief little tips that you provided that I can work on myself in the immediate situation, but also prepare myself of like, okay, I know I'm going into this situation from past experience. I have been triggered with this. Okay, let's work on this. Let's identify, let's sit with what I'm feeling, where I'm feeling it, all of the things. And I am so excited to dive deeper into that with this course. So I'm so excited.
No,
You can't tell.
that's so great. I could totally sense the excitement because it's just about finally getting to have that structured plan to be able to get you where you finally want to go. Because I don't know about you, but when I start trying something new, I feel like I want to go in 50 different directions in order to get there, and I want to be able to grab onto this and I want to be able to set better boundaries. I want to be able to communicate better. I want to be able to not care so much about what people think of me, stuff like that. Where do you start? And that's why within this 12-week program, I've really, really tried to start with, okay, what are the basics? Where do we start from? So we've already started the program together and we're on week 1, right? So week 1 is all about just goal intention setting. And it's interesting because with my previous clients, when we do this program just one-on-one, I often will get some feedback of like, I thought we were going to dive right in, Jen. I thought we were going straight for the jugular, right in the beginning. Like, let's just go all the way straight down to my abandonment wound. I want to get there now. And it's like,
Right.
but we have to take our time, don't we? So tell me what you think about our first week and this goal intention setting. Has it been kind of like simple and easy for you? Has it actually been more difficult than you thought? Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So yes and no. So there were some areas this week that I was like, got it. No problem. I know where I want to go, within the next couple of weeks as we go through this program. And then there were some that I was really stuck on. And I didn't realize it until I was asked, with the worksheets. And then when we did our group session, I hit it like a roadblock. I hit like that writer's block. And then I was like, wait, again with the negative spiral, like, okay, why can't I think of anything? This is my life we're talking about. Like it should just come like super fast. Why can't I think of anything? Why don't I have goals in this area? And then it's like, no, that's not what this is about. It's okay. We're doing baby steps because it is going to get more challenging. We are going to dive into some really difficult things. And like we were talking about in the group session, that, all of these are different puzzle pieces, to rebuild our life. And by having that goal setting exercise right from the beginning, we can start to assemble the puzzle with the overarching picture first. So we know what we're building. We know what picture we're creating with this puzzle. And so we're not going into it blind. We have our intentions set of where we want to go. And then it's just how do we get there? And we'll go one on like individually through those things and uncover, okay, you want this. Why is that important to you? You know, and so that it's going to be very eye opening. I'm going to learn so much about myself and in ways that I can't even fathom right now.
I love how you said the whole we're going to figure out I want this, but why?
Yeah.
Which I really love because I know you and I had just kind of done a little bit of like a mini session yesterday trying to figure out some of your goals and intentions. And I kept, I kept pushing, being like, but why?
Yeah.
Why do you want this? And there was someone else in the group as well. And I'll actually be talking to her as well. But she said something about like, I just want to be able to set a routine. But I had to ask why. Right? Like, why do you want to set that routine? And when we got down into it, we realized there was actually a lot of like wounds and limited beliefs and fears that were actually setting that goal that wasn't coming from her true self. And that's why this is so important to get clear on. If you're out there right now and you kind of want to set up your own little program, I love this, because people are going to follow along. Not everyone is going to be able to join the program, and that's fine. You figure out what works for you. But I highly recommend starting with your goals. And the really way that I like to do this is I like to set goals in all 8 areas of life. And you guys can go look this up. It's by the work of Dr. John Demartini. And he talks about the 7 areas of life. And then I add on recreational because I think fun and rest and recreational things are incredibly important in our lives. And they're what's missing a lot. So working with a wheel of life, go find one on Etsy or like Google or anything like that, right? They're all over the place. And really try to work on balancing that. When you were going through your 8 areas of life, did you notice any areas that either were kind of lacking and you realized, oh, wow, I had no idea I need to work on that. And some areas that were like, I'm actually doing better than I thought there. Anything like that come up for you?
Yeah. And it's interesting because, we were talking about like, the stories that we tell ourselves and our limiting beliefs. And so one of the areas that was particularly low on my wheel is all mental. Like it's not the mental section, but the reason why I scored myself lower in that category was all because of my expectations that I put on myself. So it was the financial section. We're okay financially, but I'm not, and so it's what do I bring to the table? What do I contribute? And so for me, that's lacking. If you were to ask my husband, he would have a completely different score for completely different reasons. And so I thought that was interesting, especially as we were diving into it of, okay, well, why did you score what you scored? What are your goals for that area? And why is that important to you? And when we started to dive a little deeper, it was like, okay, in looking at the 8 areas, I knew that that was going to be my lowest score, but I didn't drill it down of, it's because of my beliefs and my expectations of myself that I scored myself that low. So I didn't pick up on that until I started to do the exercise. That was eye-opening to me for sure.
Yeah, I hadn't heard. This is new for me. So I'm like sitting here almost like in that like my heart is smiling mode of like, oh my gosh, you got there. That's so amazing. And it takes just having that self-awareness, doesn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And sometimes we can get to that place. And there's a lot of courses out there or books out there we'll read and they'll be like, go ahead and, balance all the areas of your life. And you're like, great, I did that. And now, but I see I'm lacking. Now what? Right? Like, what do I do next? And that's the best part is keeping us on track, keeping us on schedule to keep going through to the next step and the next step to say, this is where we're at now. Let's slow down, right? Let's just do this. Let's just observe. Let's just be mindful. And then in the next couple weeks, gosh, we still even have like 2 or 3 more weeks before we even get to limited beliefs because we still have to keep building the foundation. But we get to keep this over here now for the next 3 weeks. You get to still keep identifying where is your financial area of life? What do you want to work on? And so by the time we get to attachment wounds, we're going to be like, oh, I'm not enough. Oh, I'm terrible with money. Oh, wow, listen to all these beliefs coming up. Oh, that's coming from this one time, my mom or dad or sibling said this one thing and now it's stuck with me. Or my teacher told me I would never amount to anything. And so that's stuck in my brain forevermore. And it's like, beautiful. Great job. Like kind of working towards getting there. So what I would love to know next is, I know you are excited about the limited beliefs and kind of wanting to work through that, but I want to know more about, where do you want to be on the other side of this program? So when we come back in 12 weeks time, we talk again, because we're going to do a before and after, and we're going to listen to this. We're going to hear all these parts. What do you want to be hearing from yourself come closer to December?
Well, my big goal for this is that I'm able to communicating my needs and wants without crumbling.
I want to hear that again. Communicating your needs and wants without crumbling.
Yes.
That's stunning.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
I always feel I'm good at expressing the why behind, like, okay, this is why I feel this way. But if I start with, this is what I need, that triggers the flood works, the dam bursts, and it just, and then it starts the spiral. And then I can't communicate effectively the why behind it. So if I start with the why, I'm fine. It's the, but I need this. Like, can I ask this of you? Or, can I get your support in this area? So, like, I'm fine saying it just like that. But if it's specific to, okay, I'm feeling this because of this and I need your help, that's when it's the asking for help, asking something of others. And so I would love to be able to communicate that confidently, effectively, and be able to still be standing emotionally
Yeah.
without crumbling, and just having to just take a minute to get my composure back, because I'm a basket case.
Yeah, because you go down that deep spiral again.
Yeah.
Right? And we haven't even gotten into this too much with one another, but just that idea of, like, if I have to be vulnerable and share parts of myself, what does that mean? We did a support session recently. I know you weren't able to make it to that one, but I can get you the replay. But we talked about what vulnerability really and truly is, what it is and what it isn't. In fact, I did a podcast about it as well. So this idea, though, if it's almost like, I said, like, ripping open your heart and just exposing it and being like, here I am.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's happening to you when you're asking for help, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because something is going on, right? And we would keep digging. Something is going on to kind of, anytime you have to ask for help, something is firing and wiring together in your mind to say, I am unsafe when I ask for help. And that can be a scary thing to go down, right? That can be a scary thing to start exploring, because a lot of people don't want to have to go into that. That means, oh, crap, I might uncover something, or I might have to get frustrated, or I might have to get angry at someone in my family first. And we might go through some of that levels of grief in order to work through the other side. But being able to do it in this program with these women, with hopefully the help of myself, like, the goal there is that you're not alone when you go through it.
Right.
The goal there is that you have people with you. And already I'm seeing, so we're doing 2 group coaching sessions a week, and then we have our little one-on-ones later on. But I've already seen, like, a connection forming within the small group that we're having. And people are like, oh, you said this thing, I tried this, and then I'm just sitting back. And it's just like, oh my God, they're like helping each other. They're coaching each other. They're having ideas. This is great. I don't want to be here, right? I think I've talked to you about this before, but, like, my goal at the end of this 12 weeks is, you guys are gone. That's the kind of coach I am. I am not a long-term coach. That is really beautiful for some people. But my goal is to get you up and on your feet again, or out of that pit, or whatever it is, and then send you on your way. Because one too many times I've had this happen to myself. I get really attached to a therapist, but I've even had my own clients. They get quite attached, and they're like, well, I can't do this without you. And it's like, oh, then I've done something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I have just shifted your attachment from another person onto me, and that's not working out very well. So I'm trying to figure this out more, of being like, how can I push you all out of the nest, right? How can I build you up, feed you as much as I can, hold your hand, and then I'm going to say, okay, it's time to go. And it's about having those connections, about having that community of those other women to be able to hold you accountable if you want to. And of course, we always have the Facebook group, right? We will always have the community. We'll always have the cohort. And that's what I love, because you need that moving forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How are you feeling so far with the group aspect of the program? Have you been someone that is quite group oriented in general? Or are you more of a individual person?
It's so funny because in school, I was like, I don't want groups. Groups are bad news. I'm my own person. I will get it done. But when it comes to personal development and when it comes to working on yourself, you and hard things, you need to have a community of people. And this group has been so amazing. I mean, it's just been a week, but the ladies in there are so fantastic. And we in the session yesterday, we were supporting each other and getting ideas. And the one that shared about the routines, I was like, dude, I didn't even think of that. Like, that is so true. And so we're opening areas of our lives that we need to work through, but they don't come top of mind because it's like you can't see the label from the inside of the bottle, right? And so when other people are sharing, then it sheds that light of, oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Yesterday we were really just coming together and supporting one another and saying like, yeah, I'm so glad I'm not alone in this. And that is so beautiful. And we were just goal setting, as we get down into, some of the tougher subjects, it's going to be like, wow, okay. We're going to feel empathy. We're going to feel compassion in supporting each other, but also being able to reflect internally and working through those things together. And so I think it's beautiful that we have not just the Facebook group, but we have multiple opportunities throughout the week to really come together as a community through video, you know, because that is super important to be able to see and hear each other. Yeah, so it's a beautiful thing, and I'm loving it so far.
Yeah, because you guys are all really connecting. And it's interesting because I have gotten to know each and every one of you, right? We've been through the assessments, we've gotten to know each other. Some of us even know each other outside of just the program because maybe we're in other things together or whatnot. But you all don't know each other quite yet. And I forgot that. And it was this moment, this surreal moment of sitting there in this group and realizing you're all kind of connecting and sharing things, but you don't know one another. And I was like, oh yeah, this is what it's all about though. This is kind of where it comes from because isolation it's like an epidemic right now, right? Like this idea of loneliness and just feeling isolated and thinking it's not just that we think we're alone. And even when we're with other people, it's that we also think we're the only ones going through something. We're the only ones beating ourselves up when, we make a dumb mistake. We're the only ones, I think about this myself, like, oh, every other podcaster must just be the most confident human in the whole world. I am obviously the only one that freaks out when she has to re-edit something. And she's like, why did I say, 20 times that podcast? No one's ever going to listen to me. But we all go through this, right? We all have our own kind of struggles that we're working through.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I wanted to start this podcast in general, was because I want to be able to talk to other people and I want other people to listen. I want other people to hear that they're not alone. Oh yeah, I love how you said me too, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the thing I always struggle with. That's the thing I often struggle with. That's the thing. Oh my goodness, I know someone else who's struggling with that. And it's through these connections, it's through these likenesses that we're able to really start growing because we can all kind of collectively lift one another up. And that's the goal. That's why I really just want to start this group program in general. I think it's the coolest thing. Anyways, as we wrap up, I want to talk about, we have our goals for what we want to do for the 12 weeks. But I want you to kind of give your future 12-week self a little like pep talk, if you will. I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Okay.
And I want us to kind of talk, and I'm going to say, like, I want you to be future Amanda. I want you to be, it's December 22nd, whatever. It's Christmas Amanda of 2024. And I want to ask you some questions. You want to play a little game with me?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm a little nervous, but
I know.
We'll go with it.
It's okay. So I want you to picture yourself in 12 weeks' time.
Right.
And you're not perfect yet, right?
Right.
So it's realistic. but you're able to ask for something. It's Christmas time and something's going on, and you just asked for a need and you didn't crumble. It just happened. You've been feeling overwhelmed and stressed. You need more support. You ask your family and they help you through it. Now, what do you feel like right now?
Accomplished, overjoyed, proud
Yeah.
that I was able to do that. And it's like an instant gratification of like, hey, you did it, of like, okay, that wasn't so scary, and proud, and look how far you've come in such a short period of time. And yeah, you're right. I'm not perfect. There is no perfect, but I'm making progress. And that is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I'd love that. And so that future self, she gets to be able to use these words to really encourage you now throughout this process, right? The things that you said there, like, it's not that scary. Like, we got this. Like, I'm so proud of you. Look how accomplished you are. And being able to utilize some of that emotion as we go throughout the process, really remembering your why, right? We have all these like goals in all 8 areas, but even these 8 areas are pointing to one bigger purpose. And that bigger purpose is that right there. That moment, that feeling, that genuine fulfillment of just living your best life, of just being in alignment with everything going on to where you could ask for help come Christmas time. That's the goal there. Yeah. How does that feel?
That feels amazing. That it warms my heart knowing that it's possible, and knowing that I'm going to have so many tools in my toolbox to be able to grab at any given time. And I'm excited.
Oh, me too. Well, thank you so much again for coming on the podcast. I can't wait to talk to you again in 12 weeks' time and see what actually happens.
Yes.
And as we wrap up today, I just want to say again, thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for taking the time to step up right now, to speak up, right? To really be able to be a voice. And so other women can come in and hear the like, hey, this is where I am. This is the places where I feel like I need to work on. Even though I have these things that work really, really well for me over here, I want to work on this. I just think that's going to really help inspire a lot of women to go out there and start doing the work themselves, wherever that is. So thank you so much, Amanda, again for coming on.
Thank you.
And I will talk to you later.
All right. See you soon.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.
Thank you so much to Amanda for coming on the podcast today and for vulnerably sharing all of the stuff that she's working through and her goals and everything she wants to work on. She is such a joy to have in the program. I'm so honored to have her. And honestly, I feel so much joy that she would trust me with part of her journey in this. And I just want to say again to anyone out there who is a part of the program right now or will be in the future, thank you for trusting me on your healing journey. This is for you. This is your journey. And I'm just a vessel. I am just somebody that your heart chose to help you get over this hump, to get over this part of your life, out of this pit and into a place of fulfillment. And thank you so much for letting me be a part of that, for listening to this podcast, for coming into the Facebook group, for coming and getting coached from me. All of that is it's such an honor. Seriously, thank you so much. So if you are out there right now and you are interested in everything Amanda is talking about, and you're like, wow, that sounds exactly like what I want, I encourage you to come join our free Facebook group. So our Facebook group is Speak Honest, and you can find the link in the show notes. Jump on. It's completely free, and it's filled with women who are struggling in their relationships just like you. It's filled with women who get in the same argument every day, or they have the same frustrations every day, or they just broke up with their partner and they don't know what to do next, or they haven't been in a relationship in a couple years and now it's their time. They're ready. They're ready for this to be the time to step into their power and really call in that relationship that they've been looking for. So if this sounds like you, come and join our free Facebook community. We would love to have you in there. And it's just a great place for you to get connected, to learn more about when the doors open to the program again in January. And until then, get as much value as you can. Grab my Dance of Attachment workbook, take the attachment quiz, come join the Wednesday support sessions. Those are completely free, and I would love to have you there. The best way to do this is to join the Facebook group. Again, search for us Speak Honest on Facebook, or go scroll down if you're in Apple and scroll, go all the way down, click on the link and join the Facebook group. We would love to have you. With all of that said, thank you all so much for joining us on this podcast today, and I will talk to you next week. Take care. As we wrap up today's conversation, always remember that healing is a journey, not a destination. And it is an honor to be a part of your healing journey. If you want to dig deeper into the topics we covered today, be sure to head over to our show notes where you can find all of the valuable information mentioned in today's episode right there. And please remember to rate, review, and subscribe if you enjoyed today's podcast. Your feedback means the world to us and helps others discover our podcast. Until next time, remember to speak up and speak honest.